Welcome to Ethiopia Today. Our today's presentation covers the following topics. Eritrea renews commitment to bolster constructive engagement with Ethiopia. Egypt says that Ethiopia rejecting coordination mechanism over GERD. The details are as follow. Eritrea renews commitment to bolster constructive engagement with Ethiopia. Eritrea has no option but to bolster its constructive engagement as developments in Ethiopia have positive ramifications to Eritrea, President Isaias Afwerki said. In his latest interview with Eri TV, the president said that despite both sides' desire and commitment for constructive engagement, Eritrea's concerns were not allayed due to overwhelming information on TPLF's preparation for war. Noting the over 3 years sweeping reform in Ethiopia, Isaias said that it has brought hope for Ethiopia and other rest of Horn of African countries. However, the terrorist TPLF, with the tacit approval of its sponsors, devoted unremitting efforts to roll back this reform, and it was accordingly immersed in intensive military preparations. Talking about the sudden assault that TPLF launched on November 3, 2020, he noted that nobody could predict such military adventure, but the terrorist group has been operating with twin objectives to topple Ethiopian federal government and attack Eritrea. Moreover, we later found out that TPLF had planned to hit over 100 key targets in Eritrea for extensive devastation. The president pointed out that following TPLF attack, we had to provide sanctuary for some of the contingents in the Northern Command who resisted the initial assault. Our reaction was a spontaneous act of legitimate self-defense. According to Isaias, TPLF's gross miscalculation to unleash the assault, which stemmed from its dominant control of Ethiopian National Defense Forces (ENDF) during the 27 years of monopolistic power, did not succeed as anticipated in the early months of the conflict. He further stated that terrorist TPLF subsequently committed another reckless military campaign when it ventured into Amhara and Afar states, controlled Dessie and Kombolcha, and bragged about capturing Addis Ababa. But the debacle it faced subsequently was predictable from the perspective of objective military analysis. Concerning the call for negotiation, he said that critical issue now is whether there is real prospect for soul-searching by TPLF and its sponsors, adding that flaunting negotiations as a tactical agenda will not serve the interest of regional peace and stability, indicating TPLF's anomalous historical position and its dualist policy, which oscillates from the monopoly of power to the establishment of independent Tigray. The president said that this has remained a cause of conflict and chaos for past decades, apart from institutionalizing ethnicity in Ethiopia. Regarding some Western powers that have been encouraging TPLF's ethnic polarization, he said that as it suits their agenda of control through pliable actors in various spheres of influence, these powers have traditionally supported such disastrous policies. The script written by Solomon Ainishat, Walter Media and Communication. Egypt says that Ethiopia rejecting coordination mechanism over GERD. As usual, we will present the source report first, and then we will bring up our views on the matter. Ethiopia is refusing to accept a coordination mechanism to achieve a fair and binding agreement on the filling and operation of its Renaissance Dam, said Egypt's Irrigation Minister Mohammed Abdel Atti, according to Arab News. The establishment of a huge dam such as the Renaissance Dam, without coordination with the Egyptian High Dam, is a precedent that has not occurred before, and requires a clear and binding coordination mechanism between them, which Ethiopia rejects, he added. He said Egypt has agreed to the construction of other dams in Nile Basin countries such as Uganda and Ethiopia, and does not object to the Renaissance Dam, but is concerned that a legally binding agreement has not been reached. Abdel Atti added that Egypt meets 97% of its water needs from the Nile River. The African Union is supervising the Renaissance Dam negotiations, which bring together Ethiopia on one side and Egypt and Sudan on the other. Previous rounds of negotiations between the three countries have failed, with Ethiopia insisting on completing the filling of the dam's reservoir. Here is our reflection to this report and how Ethiopia sees the situation. GERD is a very vital project for Ethiopia and its people. Its completion alleviates the power shortages where the majority of its people still live without electricity even after over 150 years of its invention. GERD's completion also boosts the Ethiopian economy, and it has also multiplier effects. Furthermore, the completion of Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam enhances the regional integration among the Eastern African countries as the generated electricity also to be exported to them, Sudan being the primary beneficiary of this. Ethiopia has no plan to harm its neighbors but share the benefits derived from this natural resource as usual. Ethiopia is the source of more than 85% of the Nile River but never managed to utilize its God-given resource for different reasons. On the other hand, Egypt has been a monopoly user and beneficiary of the Nile River fortunately. The time has come now for Ethiopia to build the GERD funded by its own people. Comprehensive expert and professional research is undertaken by taking into account all positive and any negative impacts it may cause. The concerns of both Sudan and Egypt are integrated into the GERD project. Ethiopia, as a fair country, always ensures its project not negatively affecting the other party or parties. This means that Egypt's water question is also included and worked out in the implementation of the GERD project. Ethiopia doesn't demand monopoly power like Egypt. Egyptians always unfairly wanted to have a monopoly power in the Nile River. Egypt's question is monopoly rather than water shortage claimed to be caused by GERD. Egypt even globally considered to be the source of the Nile because of its monopoly association with the river. And yet Ethiopia, who is contributing more than 85%, has never been known as the source of this great river. The intention of Ethiopia, however, is not as such the association of its name with the Nile River but using its natural resource without affecting the downstream countries based on the Global Convention of Transboundary Waters. As we said, Sudan is primary beneficiary of the GERD and has always agreed to its implementation before the military government came to power in Sudan. General Abdel Fattah al-Burhan has been serving the interests of Egypt rather than its own people. As the result, he is messing up the lives of our Sudanese brothers and sisters. Still, public protests are going on regularly in Khartoum and other cities demanding the establishment of a government that serves its own people, not a puppet like the current one. Egypt is just using Sudan for its own benefit. Egyptians even telling Ethiopia not to build GERD as it is unnecessary, citing that Ethiopia has plenty of rainfall. They are trying to dictate which natural resource Ethiopia has to use because of its inherent monopolistic nature. The only thing that Ethiopia hasn't incorporated in the GERD project is the Egypt's monopolistic question, not the water one. This brings the end of our presentation, but we encourage you to post your views in this matter. Thanks for staying with us. If you enjoyed our presentation, give us a like and share to your social contacts. And also don't forget to subscribe and tap on the notification bell if this is your first time. Many thanks. May God bless Ethiopia and its people.